Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let's talk about the month of November if you are a Scorpio sun, moon, or rising. So the month of November for you is going to be a major turning point. Throughout the month of October and even into September, you may have spent a lot of time by yourself. You may have been focusing more on spirituality and could have also become a lot more interested in things like astrology and have been really focusing on that to navigate your day-to-day life. In the month of November, this is your turning point. Especially after the 4th, you're going to start to have a lot of energy again. Things are going to start to feel a lot easier for you. And generally, things are going to start to become better as well. You won't feel so focused on self-improvement, on becoming a better version of yourself. And now things are going to start to become a lot easier for you. You'll start to really feel like you're a lot more confident. This is going to be a month of great confidence, of travel, of times spent with family, and also having a lot of fun. We are currently experiencing a lot of very major transits to Pisces, so you may find yourself getting into a romantic relationship, having more romance, going to parties, traveling, just generally having a lot more fun this month. You may also find yourself around groups of people more frequently and feeling very, very confident as well. During this month will also be really prime time for your finances. So you may receive a raise at work, you may start a business, you may also just unexpectedly receive some sort of sudden income. You may receive some sort of bonus at work, something really tied to what you kind of do on the day-to-day basis related to your work. You may receive some sort of bonus or like large unexpected income increase, something like that. You may receive a raise, you may start a side hustle that will really help elevate your finances. But generally the month of November is going to be really, really good for your finances, especially after October and September. This is going to be that major turning point for you where things become a lot better and you start finally elevating in the financial realm. Now you will also begin to have a lot more fun this month. Things are going to be a lot better. You will not be as focused on work. And I feel like this also really ties very nicely in with the fact that it is the holiday season. We had Halloween on the 31st of October, and now in November, we're really gearing up for the holiday season. We have Thanksgiving on the 27th, and then in December is like holiday season all month essentially. So you may have a lot more fun. You may attend a lot of Friendsgivings, you may attend a lot of Thanksgiving parties, or just parties in general. I feel like with the amount of transits you're having to the sign of Pisces, you may have like Halloween parties into the first week of November and generally start feeling a lot happier than you have in a really long time. During the summer months, you could have really been hustling at work to receive a promotion or just become more successful at work. All of that energy and focus is now really, really going to be on having fun, romance, dating, creativity. You may also find yourself beginning a new creative project. This could be art, this could be music, this could be content that will also really supplement you financially. You may create a new income stream with this, and you may become more financially secure and financially successful. When we really get into November, on the 4th, we will have Mars enter the sign of Sagittarius. For you, this is amazing financially. However, because it's the planet Mars, you may find yourself working harder in order to increase your finances. Considering the time period, you think about this right before the holidays, so you may try to increase your finances so you can afford a present for somebody, or you may want to be more financially stable so you can go on vacation. You may also just like work really hard in order to elevate this for yourself, or perhaps October and September were not as financially amazing, and now in November you're like, okay, now I'm going to work really hard to be more financially stable so I can go on vacations, I can get people presents, that type of stuff. You might be doing that more frequently. On the 7th of November, we will have Venus enter the sign of Scorpio. When it enters the sign of Scorpio for you, this is going to be really, really amazing. You're going to start to have a lot more energy. When Venus is in the sign of Libra, for you, this is not the most positive time. You may spend more time alone by yourself, focusing on spirituality. And when it enters the sign of Scorpio, your sign, you start feeling a lot better and having a lot more energy. It's almost as if you're reborn again. you start feeling a lot more motivated. You might start having a lot more energy and start feeling like you want to do a lot more things. You may start exercising more. If you had recently gotten into a romantic relationship, you may be going to the gym more often to make yourself feel better, to be more confident. You may also get your hair done, your nails done. Venus also transiting the sign for you will also be a very lucky time for you to get your hair done or anything like that. Like if you need to get a haircut or change your hair color, anything like that, Venus in the sign of Scorpio will be the best time for you to do anything aesthetically for yourself. On the 8th, we will have Uranus re-enter the sign of Taurus. And for you, when it re-enters the sign of Taurus, this is going to be a time where you start having some changes in your long-term relationships. You may find yourself suddenly getting into a partnership, suddenly getting married, suddenly getting proposed to. This is like getting married in Vegas type of energy, which you had been experiencing for the previous 7 years, but like now, after it had been in the sign of Gemini, it goes back into the sign of Taurus. It's like all of a sudden, if you had been in any sort of relationship, this is sudden proposals, sudden marriages, or also just like suddenly getting into a long-term relationship with somebody. Like if you had been in some sort of relationship with someone previously, like for the past few months, maybe you suddenly start meeting the parents, maybe you suddenly start having like some sort of whirlwind romance and things happen very, very fast. This is going to be all about your relationships, all about your romances, best friendships, long-term partnerships. And Uranus is all about sudden things happening. So suddenly getting proposed to, suddenly getting married, suddenly meeting the parents if you'd only been in a relationship for a few weeks, that type of thing. But other than that, it's going to be relatively positive considering the other transits that you're also experiencing. On the 9th, we will have Mercury retrograde. It is going to begin on the 9th of November in the sign of Sagittarius. On the 19th, it goes back into the sign of Scorpio. And on the 29th, it will officially go direct in the sign of Scorpio. The way that it will affect you is that you may find yourself very, very focused on your finances, elevating your finances, and becoming more financially stable or becoming just a more successful person financially. On the 19th, when it goes back into the sign of Scorpio, this is all about you. This is how you see yourself. This is how other people see you too. So it's like how you present yourself, how other people see you, and becoming just like a better version of yourself. This might be a new beginning around how you exercise, how you dress yourself, how you do your hair, makeup, that type of thing. You may find yourself having an urge to get a different hair color or get a tattoo. I always would say like wait until Mercury retrograde is done on the 29th, because on the 29th, when Mercury goes direct in the sign of Scorpio, you'll be able to think things through very clearly. It will still be in your sign, so you will have more clear thinking. I would actually wait for 2 weeks after Mercury retrograde. So when we're in December, around December 15th will be a good time to do anything with your aesthetic. On the 11th, we will have Jupiter retrograde in the sign of Cancer. For you, this is reassessing higher education, travel, and philosophy, also themes of spirituality like astrology. So you may find yourself having some sort of progression happening with travel. You may get a passport. You may also do something like, the TSA skip the line thing. You may do something like that too, so you can get through the lines at the airport faster. You may also really start thinking like, okay, maybe if I go back to school, I get that MBA, then I'll be able to be where I want to be with my career next year or the year after. This is going to be a time of reassessing those themes of higher education as well. So you may find yourself also having some sudden breakthroughs about higher education, and you may have that motivation to finally go back to school to get your MBA, doctorate, etc. Jupiter retrograde will begin on November 11th, so 11/11, and it will continue into March. So during that time window, you may find yourself starting a certificate, a doctorate program, MBA program, some sort of higher education program during that time. And it'll also be very lucky if you begin something during that time period. And so next year, if you achieve that or continue to achieve that, it'll begin to really elevate your public image, and you may find yourself finally receiving that promotion that you know you're supposed to be in. When we reach November 22nd, the sun will enter the sign of Sagittarius. For you, this best time for you financially. So this is starting that side hustle, starting that extra money-making venture, starting that business, starting that content channel, something like that, in order to really elevate you financially. This will be a time of a lot of focus on finances. So you may also find yourself hustling to be able to start that higher education program, that MBA, that doctorate, etc. You may find yourself saving up to purchase a home, purchase some sort of real estate or property to make that relationship more stable and secure. On the 27th, which is Thanksgiving, we will have a number of transits happening on that day. We will continue to have Mercury Retrograde, as well as Saturn turning direct in the sign of Pisces. Saturn has been retrograde since July, and it's going to turn direct on Thanksgiving. This day for you is going to be a lot of focus on romance, relationship, becoming a lot better for your relationships, and also the way you see yourself. So I feel like if you recently got into a relationship with somebody who's a little unconventional, this may also have a lot to do with the fact that Uranus is currently in the sign of Taurus, retrograde, right? So you might have recently gotten into a relationship with someone eccentric, a little unconventional, a little different, and you might have brought them to Thanksgiving. You may find a lot of focus on the way you see yourself, how you see the relationship. Things will become easy with the relationship, but you may have a lot of focus on that during that time, a lot of focus on the way you see yourself, how you see your partner, how other people see you, how other people see you as a pair. That's another thing too. So you may have conversations around that. You may also just have a major focus on how you present yourself and how you see the relationship. Mercury retrograde in your sign, Scorpio, all about how you see yourself. So this is a time where you are going to most likely be focused on these themes of unconventionality, how you see yourself, how you see the partnership, and romance. But the romance will be very positive at the same time. But there will be a major focus on those themes. On the 29th, that is when Mercury goes direct. You are going to start to have more clarity around this, and things are going to start to get a lot easier. On the 30th is when we have Venus entering the sign of Sagittarius. So when Venus enters the sign of Sagittarius, you're going to start to feel confident again. If anything comes up during Thanksgiving, you're going to start to have clarity, you're going to start to feel more confident, and things are going to get better. So I would say, like, things could happen on Thanksgiving, but most likely it's going to end up being very positive, and you're going to come out of that feeling very confident. So it's like there could be things happening, there could be conversations, but things end up working out, things end up working out for the better, things start becoming a lot better for you. And also, like, when Venus enters the sign of Sagittarius, this is like the best time for you financially. So you can kind of expect your finances to elevate, to increase. So you may finally receive that promotion, that raise, that side hustle, anything along those lines. It's going to be one of the best times for you financially. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more astrology updates.